Thank you. Any other public comment? Please come forward. Please state your name and address for the record and turn the microphone on. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jim Hills, and I live at 202 Brandywine. In the 8 years I was on the school board, Steilacoom School Board, we always used a professional negotiator, and we, the board, did not sit in those negotiations. It was counterproductive for the board members to sit in. I suspect the same might be true in negotiations with your unions. It's counterproductive to have the board members, council members sit in. I'm really here to be somewhat critical of the council. It seemed to me that the general fund monies, it looked like there wasn't enough, so they moved it over to put a fire levy out there so that would free up the monies for the council to do other things with. That's how it seems to me. So it brings me to the issue of priorities. It seems all things in the budget don't have much of a priority. Everything seems to be flat. For example, I think the fire department is very important. The levy failed. There's money in that budget for things that don't seem to be priority to me. For example, I looked online tonight. There's $500,000 in there for right-of-way and parks maintenance. To me, the fire department seems to have a higher priority than right-of-way and parks maintenance. I would not want to cut fire department so that we could keep the grass green and fertilize it so that it grows faster and water it so it grows faster. I would think that the fire department would be a better priority than that. So I just think that the council has got bad priorities, and I want to point that out. There are some things in there, as for example, last year, the branding, which seemed to be a waste of $50,000 or whatever the amount was. A council member this past week sent an email that said, well, you elected us to, basically, my interpretation, you elected us to do this. And I would say, no, we didn't elect all of you. We elected some of you, and others were appointed. I'm not even sure the best people were appointed. I know that Linda Cumberbatch had sat on this council for 4 years and probably had a pretty good feel for things. I sat on the school board for 8 years and on this council for 4 years and probably had a pretty good feel for some things, but neither Linda nor I were selected. And I'm not saying the people who were selected are bad people. I'm just saying they're coming in without any kind of a running start. Union contracts, they say, one member said something to the effect on an email, well, those are the result of prior councils. I would submit for your consideration that some of the members who are here were on the council when those contracts were negotiated. So I don't think it's fair to pass it on and say those were prior years. Some of the members are still here. So I find those to be some issues that bother me a little bit about how this has gone, but mostly I'm concerned about the issue of priorities and that $500,000 in there for parks and right-of-ways. I think we could narrow the right-of-ways and water them less and fertilize them less and cut some of that money out and use that money for the fire department or the police. Thank you.
Any other public comment?